Liebe Grandios-Freunde, schön, dass Sie wieder mit dabei sind. Mein Name ist Tobias Leminski und ich darf Sie heute aus Österreich, aus der Landeshauptstadt der Steiermark, aus dem schönen Graz begrüßen. Und unser Thema heute ist die Liebe. Und bei Liebe, da denken viele von uns natürlich an die Romantik, an das Heiraten, an Familie, an Kinder, an die Traumhochzeit und ja, oft auch nur an Freundschaft. Also haben wir uns von Grandios auf den Weg gemacht, um ein Paar zu finden, das eine solche Romantik lebt, das sich liebt, das sich verlobt hat und das heiraten wird. Und wir haben Theresa und Stjepan getroffen und ihre Geschichte, das kann ich schon mal verraten, ist voll von Romantik. Und Theresa kommt aus Graz und hat im Wienerwald studiert. Und Stjepan kommt aus einem kleinen Fischerdorf in Kroatien. Die beiden kommunizieren in weiten Teilen auf Englisch. Alles Weitere sollen uns die beiden, glaube ich, besser selbst erzählen. Theresa, Stjepan, danke, dass wir hier bei euch zu Gast sein dürfen, dass ihr uns eure romantische Geschichte, eure Liebesgeschichte erzählen wollt. Danke, dass wir hier sein dürfen. Fangen wir doch mal an. Ich hatte Gott sei Dank schon das Vergnügen, euch kennenzulernen, aber unsere Zuschauer noch nicht. Darf ich euch bitten, einmal euch kurz vorzustellen? Wer seid ihr und woher kommt ihr?
Mein Name ist Theresa, ich bin 23 Jahre alt und bin in Graz aufgewachsen mit 4 Geschwistern, also kinderreiche Familie für Österreich. Und hier ist mein Verlobter.
I'm Stjepan. I was born and raised in the small village of Verbnik that has 900 residents. I'm coming from a fairly large family. I have 11 siblings, and yeah.
Ja, also wenn ich das höre, dann kinderreich, dann ist die Liebe bei euch auch in der eigenen Familie schon in Hülle und Fülle da. Sehr schön, das freut mich natürlich. Was ist Liebe für euch?
Yeah, I think there's a big misunderstanding, even a misconception nowadays in our society about love. What is love? I think it's very much about feelings, about feeling good, about pleasure and satisfaction. And I think that's really wrong, partly at least, because it would mean, okay, as long as I feel good with you, we're good, yeah. As long as you feel good with me, as long as I feel good, we stay with each other, and if not anymore, we will split up. But love is, if I say I love you, I mean I love you. That means a no to everyone else, no other man. I love you forever, so come what may, until I breathe, I will love you. Yeah, come what may. If you get weird in some years, I'll stay with you. And I will try to honor and respect and appreciate you as I will vow. And if I get in sickness, I know that I'm safe with you and that you will stay with me. So love is more about sacrifice, yeah, and about serving each other and being grateful to do so, being joyful to do so. What a privilege that I'm able to love you, and what a miracle that you love me back. Yeah. It's really a miracle.
The true concept of biblical love really stems out of the way of showing of love that's always present in the Bible. The greatest example that we have is Jesus Christ. So in order to understand what love really is, we have to understand how love is portrayed in the right sense. So it's not really about receiving, but about giving oneself. So I was pretty much always confronted with this because I was raised by a pretty good example of what a true love is in my family, namely regarding my parents. The great misconception that there is today about love being an ordinary feeling is something that's quite deceiving, because if we see the way Jesus Christ loved his church, what's the biggest measure that he did in order to show this love? It's the ultimate sacrifice. He laid down his life for his spouse, the church. and that should be an example for every couple, pretty much. Which doesn't mean to say there is no joy in this.
No, there's an
in this giving
indestructible
of love.
joy.
Right, sure. So many times people see the sacrifice only as something that's unappealing, unattractive, and in many ways it is, because it's hard. But if something is not hard, it's not worthy. It's not worth it. Yeah. If something is easily achieved and easily attainable, then it's not worth it. Everybody would do it. Everybody would have it. So that's mainly the way that I myself personally, but I think Theresa too, thinks about the concept of love.
Das ist ein sehr tiefgehendes Verständnis von Liebe, wie ich finde. Ihr habt es auch schon klar gemacht, dass das nicht überall so ist. Damit eckt ihr vielleicht auch an. War das bei euch immer schon so, dass ihr so tief über Liebe nachgedacht habt? Oder war das etwas, was sich vielleicht sogar mit eurer Beziehung entwickelt hat?
So I was always a girl that was in love with love, big time. And I had great examples. So I didn't want anything less. That was my measure, yeah? This unmeasurable love was my measure. And I was praying like crazy for that. I don't know what I prayed more for than for you, for my future husband. It was the biggest thing for me. I was always thinking about it. I knew I wanted to become a wife and serve my husband, yeah? Now a lot of people say, what, serve? Yes, serve my husband, and he will serve me in a different way, how men and women complete each other. Knowing you, I mean, you can talk about it theoretically a lot, and now is the practice time. Not a lot changed, to be honest. It's much more about exposing yourself to the other, being truly yourself. And for me, for example, it was very important that Stjepan, from the beginning on, he knows all my insecurities, all my weaknesses, all my flaws. I didn't think about that so much before, but now I do. And he loves me, although I have all my insecurities and so, yeah, even more, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to love and understanding the way love works, and mind you saying we could never understand clearly how it completely works, because it's a big mystery, yeah, the love. So, but as I was growing up, the love was like, you have this basic concept of love when you think about the love towards the other person of the different gender, yeah. So, and in this regard, I always referred to love as the love of eros, you know, the love of desire, which is as a young child, of course, like that's the only thing you see on the movies and everywhere, yeah. And you see it with your parents too, yeah. This attractive love that there is, but as you grow older, as your faith is building up by the years that come by, you get to understand that the love is much more than just this fairly short attraction that there is only in the beginning. It's a very big part of the love itself, yeah, like in the long term as well.
Absolutely.
But people always refer to it, you know, that's the love, you know, when there's this falling in love, this attraction towards the other person.
Yeah.
So of course from the very beginning I'm a male, so I didn't really think about that as much as Theresa did. But as far as I can remember, I always wanted this kind of love that my parents had. Because I had a really great example of how two people can love each other, and I see the outcome of this love. So how many siblings I have, and I see how they transfer this love into us as children. So, yeah.
Inzwischen steht fest, dass ihr heiraten werdet, aber das Romantische bei euch ist ja, der eine oder andere würde sagen, die Geschwindigkeit. Also, wer von euch hat auf Also ich sag mal so, ihr habt ja auch Freunde und Verwandte und wenn ihr denen gesagt habt, so, wir haben uns Ostern 22 kennengelernt und lieben gelernt und tata, jetzt heiraten wir sofort, das ist eine Geschwindigkeit, die doch, sagen wir mal, jetzt nicht so üblich ist. Wie haben die Menschen um euch herum darauf reagiert?
So let's start with the parents, that's interesting. So my mom, for example, she couldn't even say much because she was the one who always told me, Theresa, if you know, you know, and if you know, why wait? Yeah. So I could use that. I could use this sentence. Also so, I know, why wait? But it was very interesting that the people in my generation were pretty excited for me and surprised, but positively surprised. Like, wow, really? You want to start a family now? Like, you're so young? And old people were a bit more shocked. So my grandma, for example, I mean, I pretty much surprised her a lot, so I'm really grateful that she didn't got a heart attack or something. It was very close. but I told her, oh yeah, I have to tell you something. I found the man of my life. I'm going to get married to him, yeah.
Those are big words.
These are big words. We were in a small coffee shop and the ears of the people grew huge and they were, yeah, the grandchild has to say something big. So, my brother, for example, my oldest brother, met him already as my fiancé. So it was really quickly, yeah. But when the people met you, I mean, how can they not love you and, yeah, being happy about it?
Yeah, that's true. Many of my siblings and those are the main people that I associate with.
Yeah.
I don't have many close friends from outside of my family since we are a big family, and growing up I always associated with my cousins, and so we were brought up in this mentality that this is normal, you know. Why waste time that God has given to you in order to build something great? Yeah? Do you yeah, right. In order to achieve something that's great, why start tomorrow? Or so that's why there wasn't much of a surprise with my closest relatives and friends, but mainly with old people, right?
Yeah.
So I heard so many times, like they heard that I was getting married, and they asked when. So I said, yeah, like in a year or so. And the main concern, really a concern, is always, how old are you? So this first question, how old are you? And then when I say like 23, that was at the time, I'm 24. 23, there was, no, you're too young. Like, what are you doing? There's life to enjoy, you know? Enjoy a bit before you get stuck in this unending circle of marriage, you know, this curse of marriage. So that's very concerning how even very close people that are quite close to me, but a bit older, yeah, have this worldview of going into something that you're not really sure about, but seeing it as not being very enjoyable or fulfilling. Or
yeah, so we always answered, that's the time when we really start living, when we get married.
Right. When it comes to my mother, she was so happy because, first of all, I was never in a relationship before. There was always something that was kind of foreign to me because I wanted it to be foreign to me. I always referred to these relationships by the way I saw them happening in the real world, in society. And I was always disgusted by it because it wasn't the thing that I was used to. It wasn't the things I saw wasn't like in high school or so, yeah. You have this endless relationship with everyone and it's leading nowhere. And I remember very clearly my father always used to tell me the same thing that his father used to tell him, is that if you want something with a girl, always see it as if you might marry her. So it's not, of course there's a period of getting to know each other and everything. It's not marriage all of a sudden, of course, and that's how it should be. But my father always used to tell me, yeah, but see this going into a relationship as marrying someone. So if I couldn't see someone as being my future wife, I wouldn't even try to connect with this person.
Thank God you never did.
Right, and my biggest my biggest, like the thing that I was always praying for was this, for God to give me this moment of understanding, yeah? Because maybe this comes a bit later, no?
No, that's okay. I prayed the same.
Because
like, I always prayed, God, let me realize, me dummy, yeah? I'm pretty stupid, pretty blind. Make it so clear for me that even I will know that thing. Yeah.
Aber das spricht ja ein tiefes Gottvertrauen und auch ein tiefes Urvertrauen, was ihr von zu Hause mitbekommen habt, in die Person, die man dann mal vielleicht heiratet. Und du hast es gerade gesagt, natürlich muss man sich erstmal kennenlernen und wissen, wer da einem gegenübersteht, dem man nachher das Ja-Wort schenkt und das Sakrament der Ehe schenkt. Wie habt ihr euch kennengelernt, wenn das jetzt auch so die Geschwindigkeit nochmal zurückspulen, wie habt ihr euch kennengelernt, lieben gelernt? Wann habt ihr gewusst, das ist es?
How much time do we have?
Fangt einfach mal an.
Okay, do you want to start or shall I? So, the first time I really saw him was 17 years after us being in this small village. So he's living in this village with 800 people living there, 900, in summer 1,000. And my family has there a small house for 17 years now. So I was the whole summer there, for 2 months every year. I never saw him. I never saw this guy. I saw all of his siblings, 11 siblings. Yeah, they gave me ice cream and so. Never him. And after 17 years, I saw him for the first time when I met his sister for a drink in the late evening. And he was sitting next to me. I didn't even realize you were there. I wasn't aware of you. And as his sister and me, we were walking home, there was a guy coming towards me, a German tourist, and he came to me and he said, "Oh, I need to have a drink with you and you want to go out with me or something." So he tried to make a move and I was super insecure and I didn't want to embarrass him. So I said, and I lied, I said, "I can't, sorry, I'm engaged." I wasn't engaged, of course, yeah, but I really lied. Until now, I really don't feel very bad for it, to be honest. That was my way to get rid of him. And he said, "Oh, with this guy sitting next to you, oh, with this guy, the tall guy, oh, lucky guy, congratulations, bye." And Stjepan came then to me and I told him, that was the first thing I said to you. I think I said, "Oh, tomorrow morning, the whole village will think we're getting married. I'm engaged to you, so sorry for this misunderstanding." And you said, "Oh, that's okay," or something. You said, "Oh, could be worse," or something, yeah? So this guy was...
like the idea.
This guy was the first guy that knew that we would get married. Yeah, so funny, yeah, because we didn't, but he knows. He was the first one to know. But really being aware of you was Easter 2022, yeah. When I came into his house, we were invited as a family, Easter Sunday, at his house, and I came into this house and I knew my life was going to change. I never had this feeling before. I knew I wasn't interpreting something I desperately want or something because I was in a situation where there was not really a possibility for me. I wasn't free at this time, I have to say that very clear. So I wasn't expecting that at all. I came into this house and I knew there was something going on. And we didn't talk a word with each other. Yeah. There was this big urge to talk to each other. And I had this stupid idea in my head to leave a bag there, to leave something in the house. So he would bring it to me and we would have some contact, yeah, that we would just be able to talk with each other because there was this big urge to talk to each other. So stupid. And I was thinking, Theresa, you won't tell this to anyone ever, that you thought this stupid idea. But not on purpose, but really by accident, I really left something. I left a scarf there. And I didn't do that on purpose, not at all. And he saw this scarf when I left and he thought that's a sign. He thought, "Oh, this was earlier, back in the days, this was a thing that like women left a tissue or something. Yeah. I'm going after her, that's a sign for me to get in contact with her." So what do you think?
Und lass mich raten, du hast an dem Schal gerochen?
Oh, let's not talk about that. But the first thought I had about it was, that it might be Theresa's. So I took it and asked all of my sisters, "Is this yours? Is this yours? Is this yours?" Like very diplomatically, "Whose is this?" And then they say, "No, it's not there." So knew exactly. Like, so then I texted Theresa about a scarf, and then there was, since it was Easter, there were vespers in the church, like a sung vespers. So I told her, yeah, I can bring it to vespers because I sing in a choir, and yeah, that's what when we made a short contact, but we still didn't talk. Or
no, he gave me the scarf like with a drug deal. He gave it to me and bye, have a nice evening. That's it, yeah. So we needed a lot of chances to really talk to each other, and. We met with your sister the next day, and she was talking to me about future plans and family values and so. And I think everything I said, we were pretty much on the same side. We were on the same side. And she asked me one question, and I was very naive answering. She said, could you imagine going somewhere else, like living not in Austria, but somewhere else when your future husband is somewhere else? I didn't refer to him, yeah. I wasn't thinking about it. I was really stupid and naive. And I said, yeah, of course. If my future husband is in Siberia, I will go there. Yeah, of course, yeah. And I think that was another hint for you. I don't know, how did you feel about it?
There was a lot of, since you're talking about how we got to know each other, and how, when was the first time that I really was starting to see Theresa as someone that might be my spouse one day. Since I always prayed, I wanted to become a priest. So in the beginning, I wanted to become a priest.
Okay.
First, like in my young age, I always wanted to marry, because that's pretty much the only thing I knew. Like my father was married to my mom, and it's like a good thing to do. But after some time, later on in high school, I was really discerning priesthood. And I was praying to God, yeah, for a calling. Yeah, I really wanted to become a priest, but that was my wish, probably. I mean, probably. Now I see that it was my wish, not his. So because Jesus tells us in the Gospels that I chose you, not the other way around. So I was really praying for this, and I try to live sacramentally, receiving the sacraments, being. Obeying to God's commandments, and I was kind of frustrated, but you can't argue with God, that He doesn't give me a calling, Then I started praying for identifying the moment, yeah, this kairos. So I really started praying for, okay, if God wants to give me any calling, yeah, it doesn't have to be priesthood, yeah. Maybe He calls me into the holy matrimony. So I really started praying for this moment of realization, that I realize, and not to miss this moment. Yeah. So I told him, yeah, you have to give me a clear sign. I was really, I wouldn't say desperate, because it's when you really pray to God in this way, you can't say that you are desperate. But you can argue with God a bit, because that's a stupid human logic. Yeah, I think I'm doing something right, so I need to get something in return. While in reality, He's already given everything to us. Yeah, He's already died for our sins. We have life, we breathe, we can laugh, we have people that love us. So we are not owed anything. Yeah. But that's a stupid logic. Yeah, like you think that God has to give you an answer. So. As I was praying for this, the first time and it's not really about feelings, because falling in love is a feeling that pretty much everyone in their lifetime has. Some people many times, majority of the people, majority have it many times. But it's not really about feeling as much as it's about the realization. That's what I was looking for. Because I never had this sort of thinking of a certain girl that I saw, even though the girl would be beautiful, and so that this might be my future wife. I never had this view on the. I always found, of course, you find someone attractive, and so, but I was really praying for this realization. Yeah, I don't want to waste, the time God is giving to me, and try to discern different things when I just prayed for clarity. And that's what he gave me. When I heard Theresa, and there was the time after Easter, after Sunday Easter Mass, and then I heard Theresa talking. She was talking to my sister. I was sitting nearby, and she was talking to my sister in the most special way that I've never heard a woman talking like this. They talked about the majority of important values that there is in marriage, pretty much, yeah, but in relationships too. So the way she spoke, I realized that this must be my future wife. Not in a way that I'm claiming it, you know, but in a way that I realized that. That was the first time that I realized the calling. Really, the calling to get married and to be a father. Yeah. Not so much as a feeling.
Also es war nicht der Schal, sondern ihre Stimme.
Right. It wasn't the Schal.
No, it wasn't the Schal. What was also interesting, very short, is that his sisters were a bit concerned about you. Like, you were 23 years old, handsome man. Is there something wrong with him, that he was never in love, never had a relationship? And they said, Stjepan, you have to go outside, like leave the island, go to big cities and find someone, yeah? You
Not in the wrong way, yeah.
No, but
you know, like, do something.
Do something to find your future wife.
You'll never find your wife at home, yeah.
Yeah, and you talked, yeah, and you said, what did you say? If God wants me to get married, He will send my future wife into our house. She will walk into our house, and I did.
And that's really what happened, yeah.
Yeah.
And on Easter Sunday, my mom invited Theresa's parents to lunch, and they brought Theresa with them. So, without me knowing that at the time, the thing that I wished for really happened.
Also hat Gott dir Theresa erstmal nach Hause gebracht, um sie dir dann wieder weit wegzubringen, denn der Wiener Wald ist ja nicht gerade um die Ecke, da fährt man nicht mit dem Fahrrad hin. Wie war das mit der Fernbeziehung und der Entwicklung einer Liebe? Das ist ja, wenn man mal so den Volksmund hört, nicht besonders verträglich. Das funktioniert ja eh nicht, das hört man dann eher. Wie war das bei euch? Also so eine Fernbeziehung, wie habt ihr das sozusagen geschafft, da dann eine solche Tiefe reinzukriegen, die letztlich zur Heirat führt?
So, the thing is that we didn't come together right away. That was very spannend, very interesting, because it lasted weeks until we talked to each other for the first time. And it was a lot of suffering, a lot of insecurity, how's the other one feeling or not. We didn't even talk much. All I knew about him was from his sister, his bigger sister, that told me everything about you. So there was one particular day where I really knew that's the one. Maybe I didn't answer that on the question before. There was a day at Corpus Christi feast day. We were there with my family, and I told God, so if you want me to do something, then you have to give me a very clear sign, yeah? And I'm here for 4 days. If there's something with this man, then tell me. And I hid in my house so that I wouldn't bump into him, and so, stupid. And there was one day adoration, Friday morning, very early, and he was there, and he waited, after adoration, he waited for me outside of the church. And that was the first time we really talked to each other. And our first conversation, the first conversation we ever had, more than 5 minutes, just the two of us, was exposing that we would be meant for each other, yeah? That God meant us for each other.
Ja. Was war das bei euch, dass ihr so klar in diesem Moment vor der Kirche da reden konntet, also gerade bei dir, dass du für dich nach 2-3 Mal Treffen, ohne viel zu reden, gesagt hast, so Mädchen, du bist es.
Yeah.
I had this great urge to tell her what I feel, because if I didn't, then it would just be in my head, you know, my own feeling, and she would probably never know what it was. And straight away she didn't give me any kind of explicit feedback, you know, that she tells me, I feel the same, or nothing.
I couldn't, of course not.
She was just kind of trying to work through how she would do it from now on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was still in this great insecurity. I didn't know like what's going to be out of all of this.
I couldn't tell him, for example, that I had dreams 5-6 times in a row, like all the time the same dream, that I would marry the wrong person. This was a nightmare for me, really. I woke up in the night and I had this dream that I would marry the wrong person in the church of his village. And I couldn't move. I couldn't move to the altar, yes? And I was just thinking about him. I had dreams like that, incredible. I didn't tell that to anyone, yeah? People would think I'm crazy. But he really helped, yeah? He really did. Heaven really intervened.
Was macht ihn aus? Also wahrscheinlich sein Mut, aber noch viel, viel mehr. Ja. Beschreib doch mal, was hast du gefühlt, als du sie gesehen hast? Was macht sie als Person aus? Und was macht ihn als Person aus, unabhängig von der Attraktivität?
Right.
Das können wir sehen.
Right. So there's a main concept that I was always guarding myself from. It was this falling in love thing, yeah, because it's based again on this type of eros love, yeah, the love of desire. That's very short-term love, yeah, like it has very short lifetime. So I was always. That's why I didn't fall in love with Theresa at first sight, yeah, because the Saint John Chrysostom says that in this one sermon of his, like what a husband should say to his wife on their wedding days, I fell in love with the excellence of your soul. So the soul is really the thing you fall in love with in a person. That's why I didn't have this love at the first sight, when Theresa really spoke, and that's what made me really fall in love with her, because okay, there is first the rational observing of the situation. Yeah, I know she was a Catholic. She had a good parents. Yeah, that are in faith too, because I talked to them a bit before I talked to Theresa. That's interesting too. So, and then I had to hear the way she acts, the way she, of course, and the outside appearance, Theresa's beauty, is just something that's a crown on the top, yeah, something that shouldn't be the first thing, yeah. Of course, I saw Theresa being beautiful, but that wasn't the thing that made me fall in love with her, you know. They say. In the book of Proverbs, yeah, it says that charm is deceiving, beauty is fleeting, but the woman that fears the Lord is to be praised. So that's throughout my whole upbringing. I always saw this quick love, you know, the quick love, as one philosopher calls it, fish love, you know, which is really self-love, you know. This instant gratification love, for me to get as much as I can from the beauty of this person, and then you move to another person, which is not the love at all.
No.
Yes. Right. Oh, I'm very relieved with this answer. No, because beauty fades, yeah, and he's a gorgeous man, and I never thought I would get a man like this, yeah, and he was really more than I've ever prayed for, or I could have imagined for myself. So he's a true gentleman, but I don't want to say much about how I feel secure, how he makes me feel, and so, no, but how he truly is, and he's incredibly wise for his age. It's really incredible. I always joke and I say, yeah, you have to do this. I always say, Stjepan, he's 24. He looks like a 30 years old. He's from his ratio and so like a 50 years old, and he has a very noble, old, wise heart and soul. And I'm very proud of that. He's really a God-fearing man, which means sticking to the truth, very clear in his thoughts and his acts. Very loving, serving, and I couldn't imagine a better husband and also a father for our children, yeah.
Das lasse ich so stehen. Das ist ja dann schon fast ein Future Plan. Ist doch schön. Lass uns noch mal kurz zurückschauen. Wer hat denn wen gefragt? Oder viel wichtiger, wie hat er vor allen Dingen oder sie gefragt, lasst uns ein bisschen an dieser Romantik teilhaben, weil wenn die Geschichte angefangen hat, kann ich mir vorstellen, dass der Moment noch schöner war.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So the funny thing is that this is, I think, I would say, even our least romantic story, we have to say. So there are so many daily life stories that are much more romantic. Love letters much more romantic, or conversations while cleaning something much more romantic. And there's a big hype about proposals nowadays. And on Instagram, social media, you get like this big hype, with red roses and romances, all that. Oh, bullshit. It's not that, yeah. It's not about the location, it's not about the flowers, it's not about the chocolate or anything. It was truly a very normal day. So we were celebrating Sylvester, New Year's Eve, with his small siblings, and we were dancing with them and cooking with them, and that itself was very cute. And Stjepan made my hair. He's my personal hairdresser, so he cut my hair and made me looking acceptable. And and we went to adoration at 11 o'clock. We went to adoration, right? And we were kneeling there. I noticed that he was pretty more nervous than usually. And I said, okay, Jesus, I know what's coming now. I know I have to act like I don't know, but I know him pretty much. So I said, you entrust him to me now. I know what my task is now, what my purpose is. My purpose in life. If you know your purpose in life, everything is so much easier. Everything can come. And then we went to one location where you saw over the village, the small village. That's also very showing me that's what you get to. Yeah, that's our new home. That's my new home. And we were standing there. This was a big spot for us because at this spot we revealed our big insecurities, our big, I don't know.
As a place of our last conversation before she left
to decide.
To Austria,
yeah.
And leaving me without an answer, yeah.
Yes.
So that was the last place we...
Leaving you without an answer, and this was the place where I gave you the answer forever.
Right, sure. And we didn't think about it, but...
Yeah, interesting, yeah.
Sure.
Und dann hast du sie gefragt und deine Hand angehalten.
Yeah, but much before that I asked her father for her hand, so that's
that was much more important.
Right.
Also du hast erst den Vater gefragt?
Yeah, of course.
Und danach sie?
Yeah, of course.
I always wanted it like this.
Sehr klassisch,
sure.
Sehr klassisch.
But I always thought to myself that if I was a father of a beautiful daughter, I would want someone who wants to do something with my girl to ask me first. I mean,
yes.
So that's the way I was thinking, and why not?
Und was hat der Vater gesagt?
That was one of the most beautiful conversations I've ever had with because as you might know, my father passed away some years ago, and I really felt like talking to another father. And later on in the conversation, I was quite nervous talking to him. And so.
You came to me, remember? Yeah. You were in the guest room, I was in my room, and in the morning he snuggled himself into my room and he said, Theresa, you can pray for me if you want to. And you left.
Yeah, that isn't what was about to happen.
I was like in the bed, waking up.
So, but he there's a quote, he told me that I knew that I wasn't going to lose a daughter, but gain a son. So that was kind of a big yes that I received from her father. Yeah, and I think that's very important, you know. It's not about people think about it as Theresa's not anyone's property, you know, like ownership or something. No, I just my intentions should be clear to her family, of course. And since the very beginning, we knew that we want to marry each other. Of course, what's the point of getting together and being in a relationship if not to marry each other the way God wants it to
I never referred to you as my boyfriend. I always said, that's the man I'm going to marry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Aber dann wusste das der Vater, dann musste es ja schnell gehen. Der Vater kann das ja nicht lange für sich behalten. Dann musstest du ja ganz schnell auch sie fragen.
No, I knew.
We didn't know, but once you have a green light, why wait? It might turn orange again.
You're right. No, but it was really important for me that he asked my father first. I have this close relationship to my father that I need his blessing. If he gives me the blessing, I know even more that he's the right one for me. And we knew so clear that we would get married, so the proposal wasn't a surprise for me. Yeah, this woman who already lived together, and then the man proposes to them, and they're all like, "Oh, really?
Yeah. And you kind
That
of have
was never
to
the
be, you know, not at ease because you're not sure about
you don't know the
answers.
answer first. And no, it was very clear. Yeah, and I knew also on this day that he was going to ask. Yeah? He came into my room and he left. Both of the men left, and my mom ran down to me and she said, "The man left and they didn't take me with them." And I said, you can imagine what's happening now. And later, like they needed 3 hours, and there was Mass. It was Sunday, Gaudete Sunday. So, freut euch, be joyful. Good Sunday to ask for my hand. And they were sitting in the pew. We were meeting in this church. And I went with my high heels and my mom. We went to the pew where they were sitting, and I just wanted to see in their face, like, did he say yes, or might he say, ask in a year again? It would have been okay. I told my father, you can tell him, ask in half a year, ask in a year. We will wait, it's not a problem. I told
Theresa that, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Maybe, why not? Maybe that's the point of doing it, yeah? Like if I know that I want to marry her, why not doing the next year if her father wants that to be so? Why not? I was ready for this kind of answer, but
yes.
But we had pretty good poker faces, both of us. We didn't
Horrible.
agree on anything, but
they really tortured me. I was looking so close to their faces, trying to get some glance, like, is it a yes, is it like a maybe or later? No, nothing, poker face. And then after the church ended, my father said, okay, Theresa, you come with me in the car. We go now to a restaurant, we have lunch, a big day, and Stjepan goes with my mom. So I was in the car with my father, and that was one of the most emotional, biggest conversation I've ever had with him, and the first time where I really felt like a woman. Yeah, not just his little girl. I will always be his little girl, but really like a woman, and how happy he was for me. He said, "That's really a blessed story. God really blessed you too." And I said, "Yes, Father," and tears dropping down my face. And we were parking there in front of the restaurant. You and Mom got out of the car, and him and me, and we came to each other. I hugged you, and you said, "We got a yes. Ja. We got a yes." Wir haben das Ja bekommen. Ja.
Wie schön. Du hast die Beziehung zu deinem Vater erwähnt. Das ist ungewöhnlich für eine Tochter, dass man normalerweise hat man ja gerade bei solchen romantischen Themen eine Beziehung zu seiner Mutter. Ja. Du hast deinen Vater erwähnt. Warum?
Weil mein Vater meine große erste Liebe war und immer meine Liebe sein wird. Und ich werde immer seine kleine Tochter sein, und für mich war es auch sehr wichtig, dass Stjepan das immer weiß. Und Stjepan konnte sich da sehr, sehr gut hineinversetzen in meinen Vater, ja, und hat auch gesagt, das kann nicht leicht für sie sein. Theresas Hände, die einmal Babyhände waren, in meine Hände zu geben. Ja, ich weiß, was sie mir da anvertrauen, wen sie mir da anvertrauen. So yes, my father plays a big, huge role in our life, and always will be for our children and for us. And he will always be the one person we can go to, no matter what, we can rely to, and yeah, for both of us.
Theresa, Stjepan, danke für dieses wirklich sehr schöne, romantische Gespräch, dass wir da so einen tiefen Einblick auch in eure ganz persönliche Liebesgeschichte haben durften. Und Ihnen, liebe Grandios-Freunde, darf ich gerne auch unsere Homepage grandios.online ans Herz legen. Da gibt es noch mehr solcher Geschichten zum Thema Liebe, unter anderem auch Gespräche mit Pater Karl Wallner, dem Leiter der päpstlichen Missionswerke hier in Österreich. Wir haben einen Hormonpapst, den Experten letztlich auch für Epigenetik, Professor Dr. Huber. Wir haben Erzbischof Genswein und viele, viele andere emotionale Geschichten, die dort zu sehen sind, kann ich Ihnen wärmstens empfehlen. Und wenn Sie nichts mehr von Grandios verpassen wollen, schauen Sie gerne vorbei bei uns auf der Seite, da können Sie ein Abonnement abschließen, Grandios Abo Plus, dann kriegen Sie alles gleich nach Hause geschickt und können das online jederzeit einsehen. Bleiben Sie uns gewogen, empfehlen Sie uns weiter. Tschüss, ciao, ade.